Hey, it's Build a Big Podcast. David Hooper here. I've been doing a lot of promo for this new book I've got. It's called Big Podcast, Grow Your Podcast Audience, Build Listener Loyalty, and get everybody talking about your show. Right now, there was an issue with one of the distributors. It's only $10.95 at Amazon, normally $20. So if you're interested in having a big podcast with a big book, and it is big, 462 pages, go to Amazon right now, search for Big Podcast. You'll know it when you see it, because it looks like a zebra. I've got a story in the book about Rush Limbaugh. And people are surprised because I'm a little bit more liberal than Rush Limbaugh, but I do respect him as a radio announcer. I've got an old air check that I'm going to play you because everybody's been asking me about this. This is Rush back in the 70s. I think it's 74, maybe 75. I've got a few of them. I'm going to play one of them for you after I make my point here, so stay tuned for that. Everybody's asking about the Rush Limbaugh story and why I like him. I'm going to tell you a bit about that in a second. But I've been reading this other book. I want to tell you why she likes him. Valerie Geller has a book. I just found out about this, and I can't believe it with all the research I did for my book. It's called Beyond Powerful Radio. It is a good book, and Valerie worked with Rush at WABC in New York City. She said he's a hard worker, which obviously he is. You know, something interesting about him, if you're not familiar with this, about 20 years ago, Rush was on a bunch of pills. He had an OxyContin issue. And if you take a lot of those things, it can affect your hearing. And that's exactly what happened to Rush Limbaugh. He went deaf over that stuff, so deaf that he couldn't even hear his phone ring. When you listen to him during this period, it was really interesting because he had a guy who was listening to these calls as they would come in. He would type a transcript for Rush to read. So you would hear the caller, then there would be a delay, and then Rush would answer. And people are like, what's going on? There's some kind of weird delay. He had kind of a mush mouth, sounded like he had food in his mouth or something. It's kind of weird. And then they found out, Rush Limbaugh's going deaf. Then we found out about all the drugs he was on. Anyway, he's back, got a cochlear implant. And here's the story that Valerie tells in her book. I think this is something to keep in mind for you as a podcaster. He said, on station KFBK in Sacramento, California, I was allowed to be myself. He said it was the first time in 17 years on the radio where he was allowed to be who he was on the air. Here's his advice. He said, you'll never be your best doing it someone else's way. He says his show has been successful because he entertains audiences, not because of his right-wing politics. Now, I think the right-wing politics definitely helps because we listen to people that we agree with. Part of the reason why people listen to your podcast is because you're letting them know that it's okay to believe a certain way. So if you're a very conservative person, part of the reason why you're listening to Rush Limbaugh is because he's telling you that it's okay to believe that way. With that said, he's a very entertaining guy. Here's an air check from when Rush Limbaugh was known as Jeff Christie. I think when you compare this to who he is now, you can say, I kind of hear a little Rush in there. But at the time, that was in there. It just wasn't allowed to come out. I think podcasters, we can relate to that. We have something inside of us that hasn't quite come out. Here is Rush Limbaugh, also known as Jeff Christie from 1974.
14K, Terry Jacks and Seasons in the Sun. Jeff Christie in Pittsburgh serving humanity at 9:48.
Honey, get your body.
Production. Also appearing with Shana Na and opening the show will be Billy Cook's Rainbows and Gypsies. See the exciting Day of the Dolphin, rated PG, now showing at the Ardmore Drive-In, Bellevue, Bethel Cinema, Camp Horn Drive-In, Carnegie Cinema, and Cinema World. Day of the Dolphin also showing at the Hampton Plaza, McKee Cinema, Oaks, Penn Hills, Regent, and Rockton Theaters. See Day of the Dolphin now at the Sewickley, South Hills, South Park Drive-In, South Hills Drive-In, and Sunset View Drive-In. I certainly hope you people are writing all of this down. Don't miss a Day of the Dolphin. It is now showing at a theater or drive-in near you. 14K.
A diamond has locations.
14K.
Music Radio 14K. Hey, sweetheart, don't you worry about a thing. Stevie Wonder, come on.
Watch this out.
14K, don't you worry about a thing. Stevie the Boy Wonder. Real name is Steveland Morris. It's 2 words, Steveland Morris. There's a shock, and I found that out. Jeff Christie at 9:54.
14K.
Exorcist is now on its 16th record-breaking week at the Warner Theater downtown.
14K, it too.
Music Radio, 14K, Sound of Philadelphia, TSOP by MFSB, his mother, father, sister, brother. And it's the last time, and I'm going to tell you people that, this song has been out now for 3 weeks, and you should know it by now. you don't, that's just tough toenails.
14K.
958 at 14K. Rick Nelson, former All-American boy turned hippie, and a song, A Garden Party.
I went to a garden.
KQV, Pittsburgh.
I'm looking at
14 karat gold. 1973.
14K, Jeff Christie, Rock and Roll Radio Show, Friday night. Just minutes away from 14 more non-stop hits in a row. Right now, the Stylistics, Stone in Love with You. 14K, the Stylistics from Philadelphia. Stone in Love with You. That's nice. Jeff Christie at 10:07, 69 degrees. Skies are cloudy. It's going to be mostly cloudy. A chance of some showers tonight. Low tonight 53. Variably cloudy and warm tomorrow night, and Easter Sunday morning. Afternoon high Saturday at 72.
President Nixon's California tax W is silent.
14K. Hit 8.
Music Radio, 14K with a great 14K giveaway. Thousands of prizes. Be listening Monday on 14K.
So that was Rush Limbaugh, at the time known as Jeff Christie, from the early 70s. Those checks are from around 1974, back when Rush was playing top 40 radio. If you like Rush, you've got that broadcast talent just waiting to come out. You want to do it with your podcast? Let me help you. If you go to Amazon.com right now, you search for Big Podcast, you're going to see this book. It's called Big Podcast, Grow Your Podcast Audience, Build Listener Loyalty, and get everybody talking about your show. Just $10.95 right now. Looks like a big zebra. Thanks for listening to Build a Big Podcast. I will see you tomorrow on the next episode.